guys, I'm Shanna from the Best Groceries. Something really exciting happened last week. My second Rise family garden arrived, so I'm super excited. I now have extra space in my garden and I'm looking forward to putting some new plants in there. So it's springtime here now, yay! The garden centers are open and I've been thinking about strawberries, and I have some strawberries in my outdoor garden and I absolutely love them, and I know that you can grow strawberries hydroponically and in the Rise garden, so I thought I'm going to add some strawberries to my garden. I've started strawberries from seed before and it's quite a process, and obviously it takes a long time for the plants to get to the point where they're producing fruit. So I would prefer to have strawberries sooner rather than later, and I thought I might be able to do this by taking some pre-grown plants from my neighborhood greenhouse and transplanting them into my Rise garden. The way that I'm thinking of doing this is to take my plants out of the soil that they're in, rinse off all the soil, take an empty Rise pod and cut it into 4, so half and half again, and then take the roots of the plants and put it in the middle of the pod with some roots sticking out each of the 4 openings, shove it in a net cup, and then put it in the garden. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm using a variety of regular kitchen implements for this. I've got my pods soaking in a bowl of water so they'll be nice and soft to cut. I'm going to use a cutting board and a bread knife, and I'm going to use a regular old kind of chip salad bowl to dump all the dirt from the plants and try not to make a giant mess. So I'm going to do one plant at a time, going from the soil all the way to in the garden, and then repeat with the next one. And the reason is that the little tiny roots of the plants are where it soaks up all the nutrients, and if those are exposed to air for too long, they're going to die and the plant is going to struggle. So my goal is to keep the ones I'm not working on in the soil and moist while I'm working on other plants, and then I'll take them out one at a time, rinse them, put them in the pod, put them in the garden, and then that way also, if I find a better way to do it as I go, I can let you know about that as well. Alright, I'm going to get started with the first one now. Okay, so the variety of strawberries that I picked up from the greenhouse are called Albion. I would love to tell you that I chose these specifically out of perusing many varieties of strawberries, but it happened to be the only one they had. However, I did look it up and it says it produces better than the other variety of strawberries I have outside, and I was extremely happy with the strawberries in my garden last year. So if these produce better, then we are in good shape. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get this plant out of the pot, or there's 4 plants in here. So I'm going to get it out of the pot and into my bowl so I can start separating them and taking the dirt off. So let me try and look like a pro while I do this. Okay, mostly okay. All right, so I'm going to try and tease the first one out. Now, of course, if there's a bunch in a pot like this, the roots might all be combined together, but you can usually kind of pull them apart gently, and in this case came apart relatively easily with little destruction. So I'm going to try and shake as much dirt off, soil off in the bowl as I can. Yep, here's me not making a mess, that's for sure. Okay, now I realize I should have a dish to put this over top. Random dishes. I'm going to go to the sink and rinse it off, and then I'm going to come back and put it in the pod.
Rinse the roots thoroughly under lukewarm water, making sure to tease out any chunks of dirt very gently. When you're finished, flip the plant over and rinse the leaves off in case any pests came along with your plants. You'll want to make sure that you have something in your drain to catch all the dirt that's falling off the plant.
Okay, so I got my first one rinsed off. Looks like this without all the soil on it. And now I'm going to take okay, be gentle with your pods, they break apparently. Oopsie. So I'll have to not use that one. Let me be more gentle with the next one. So don't try and squeeze the water out, it will fall apart. Okay, so I'm going to cut it in half, and let me see here. I wonder if I just cut it in half instead of cutting it in quarters. Okay, so one important thing with strawberries is the crown at the bottom. They call it the crown. but it has to be above the soil or the water line. Do not bury it inside the peat pellet. So make sure the crown stays above. If you're unsure about how high to keep the plant out of the pod, you can take a look at how it was originally planted in the pot, and you want to aim to have it about the same distance out of the pod that it is out of the soil in the pot. Okay, I'm just going to do it in half because A, now I've discovered they're flimsy a little bit, and B, well, they're not meant to be cut in half, so fair. And B, it seems to be working just like this, so I'm going to gently mash, gentle mashing of the roots into the net cup with the pod. Now we're squeezing the water out. Make sure the roots are kind of extended out the bottom as much as possible, and I'm going to have to give this a little bit of a enthusiastic shove. So anyway, that looks pretty good to me actually after a little bit of struggle. So I'm going to go plunk this one in my garden, and then I'm going to repeat with some more. So I'm all finished. I don't think I beat the plants up too badly. If this doesn't work out, I don't think it will be because of how I handled the plants. I can say that it did not get any easier to get them in the net cups as I went along. So make sure when you're doing this, you're doing it when you have a good amount of time available. Grab a beer, pour a glass of wine, turn some music on so that you can enjoy yourself and take your time. Next thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to change the water in my garden sooner than I would otherwise have to. I'm quite positive I did not get every little piece of dirt off of the plant roots, even though I tried. So I'm sure that that will wreak havoc on my garden, and I'll likely be changing the water soon. I will give you an update on how that goes though. And lastly, I will post a few updates over the next couple weeks, show you how my plants are doing, and you can decide if this is something you want to try for yourself. So it has now been 8 days since I transplanted the strawberries into my garden, and I'm really excited to show you how it's going. So the first and definitely the most exciting thing that I have to report is that I have strawberries ripening, and even one that's completely ripe at this point. So that is super exciting. Lots of strawberries on the way. All of my original 9 plants went into the garden looking fantastic, and I would say 7 of them continued to look great the entire way through. 2 of them are struggling. I've got one back here that's got some floppy, wiltier kind of leaves, and then I've got one up here that looks fairly dead. But I believe that the roots of these are still alive, and there's a possibility they will recover. So I'm going to trim them up and take off the dead leaves, and I'll see. I'm going to give them a chance, and if they recover, great. And if not, then once I know they're really dead, I will get rid of them. The last thing I have to mention is that I was very surprised I did not have to change the water in my garden early. Normally, I change it every 2 weeks, and I was able to stick with that schedule and didn't have any impacts from residual dirt on the plants. That's the updates I have for you at this point. I'm going to wait another week and give you another update. So far, I'm very excited about how this is going. All right, so it's been 17 days since I planted the strawberries. Let me show you what's been going on. I've been getting lots of delicious strawberries, which is fantastic. My 2 original plants that were not doing well are still not doing well. I've got one back here that's got no leaves left on it. I'm still just waiting to see if by some miracle it might re-sprout, but I'm not hopeful. And then my second one that's not doing well is this one here, which also looks very, very sad. And now I've got a third one, this one here, that's kind of all the leaves look a little crusty, and I'm not hopeful for this one either. So we'll see what happens. I guess 6 out of 9 are doing well and making me lots of strawberries, and 3 are not doing so hot. So overall, I would consider this a success. I guess if you're going to do it, plan for a few of your plants to fail and buy the amount accordingly. But otherwise, I am pretty happy with this overall. You can see I have lots of great strawberries. I don't want to delay publishing this video, so I'm going to post it now, but make sure to check the comments below for further updates on this project. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel.